So let's talk a little bit more about the process that people go through when they think about switching their diet. So Emma, can I bring you in? What's the first step that people need to think about when they consider switching to a raw diet?
Well, it's usually done out of a need, or it certainly has been done out of a need up until a few years ago, because people were then looking into what's better for their pet because their pet's poorly.
Hmm.
And that was, I think, a lot of the people used to come into the shop and mum used to be able to help them. But now, I think overall people are a lot more aware of what they eat, so therefore they're more aware of what they're feeding their pets. And most people want to do the best to improve it if they are aware of it. So once you know about it, you can fix it. So realistically, we use species appropriate food. So we've got a dog. A dog could naturally catch, kill, and eat a chicken, for example. So we base our diet a lot on a chicken. We wouldn't encourage everyone to feed the same protein over and over again continuously. So we expect people to vary it over time, but it doesn't have to be done every meal, So you don't have to create a beautiful culinary delight for every single meal. You can if you want to, and if that's your passion, then absolutely fine.
Right.
But it can be really simple. And sometimes people do overthink it a bit, but really it can be very simple.
Mm.
So a nice simple raw diet based on chicken is what we use, but like we say, more proteins over time because you do need different amino acids and different vitamins in from other places. So that's why we advocate using chicken and starting on chicken. So a minced chicken for a starting base is really good because it's already broken down for the pet.
Mm.
So be it a cat or a dog or a ferret, they can eat that easily. Doesn't smell either, which although might sound obvious when you had a bit of chicken in the fridge, you wouldn't want it to smell. Cats and dogs kind of like things that are a bit more smelly. So if you open a bag of kibble and you stick your nose in, it's not usually a pleasant experience.
Mm.
But actually, you'd be surprised when you defrost our chicken, there's hardly any smell to it. So encouraging the dogs to eat it, or the cats, can be a bit tricky to start off with. But we've got tricks and tips to help people do that.
So is it just usually a kind of gradual changeover or a sudden switch or what?
It is completely up to your own circumstances. If you wanted to do an instant switch over and you're like, that's it, I don't want my dog eating that rubbish food anymore, I want him to have the best, you could do lots of small meals throughout the day and increase the amount they have and then decrease the meals they have. Mm. So you increase the volume of the meals but then decrease the amount. So we can do it over maybe 4 or 5 days. Mm. Or you could also bring it in where you have a small raw meal and then their basic other biscuits or tinned meat that they were having beforehand, and then gradually increase the amount of raw they're having, decrease the other food. So you can do it as a transition, or you can do it sort of cold turkey.
Whichever works. And does it depend very much on what they've been having before and the way you manage that transition?
Not really, because the raw diet really appeals to the pets. So overall, they do tend to wolf it down.
And it's easier for them to digest anyway.
Much easier for them to digest.
Yeah. So how soon would you expect to observe a noticeable difference in the pet when you make that switch?
Almost instantly. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Well, you see it in their faeces. So when they have a poo, you can definitely see the difference of what's gone in as to what comes out. It makes an almost instant difference.
And also, it's surprising how quickly the coat can change. It can get really soft within a very short space of time. I can remember when I changed Fred over, within 3 days his coat felt softer and silkier. And I thought actually I was imagining it. But you ask anybody, and if their dog's been on raw for a week, or their cat.
Well, we had our old cat Pip. She was a bit of a madam, so we had to have a bit of an alternative. So although we know the raw diet's best, we also used a really good quality biscuit. So sometimes she would eat that. She wouldn't entertain a tinned or pouch food. That was a no. I also used to have to put her raw food down frozen so she'd go and choose to eat it when she wanted to. You couldn't, you know, you wouldn't believe it really, but she'd go through phases where she'd be happy to eat the raw food, and then other times she would leave it. And when she was on the raw diet, you could feel her coat become softer almost overnight, and she was a bit arthritic, and she didn't click when she walked when she was on the raw food, just like that.
Wow. That's amazing.